Welcome back for the first time in a while. Today we're back working on the Allroad, and we are going to do brakes all around. I've already done this side to practice, and I'm going to take you along on the other side to get to show you how to do it and just take you along for a spin. After you take off your wheel, you're going to take off these two screws. This one here and this one here. And for those, you're going to need a 13 wrench and a 15 spanner. The 15 spanner you're going to shove in between here. And then the 13 you're going to put on here. This one you want to put the spanner like this and put the wrench on back here. Here it's going to be pretty simple, and you're just going to hold the wrench while loosening the screws and screw the screw out. And that is that. But for this bottom one that's a little bit more tricky, you're going to need a extension to lengthen the ratchet. You're going to squish it in here like this. Take your 15, put it behind it, and then ratchet it out. I already loosened these, so these might be pretty tight for you. So consider using WD-40 to take them out. And there we go. After that, you are going to need a big screwdriver, a nice thick one, and we're going to take off this caliper. Important for this part is the fact that you have your handbrake off and nothing on the brake, so that there's no force on this caliper and you can easily take it off. So what you're going to do is push it in here and lift it off like this. Then you're going to go in the bottom, do the same thing, and just work it up like this. And then after a while, it should just come off like this. And then here you have your caliper. This is your actual piston that pushes the brake pads closed. Here you have your old brake pads. These should, unless they're squeezed in like this, just come out. And then you can also take that chance and lift out your rotor like this. This isn't going to be possible on all old cars or all cars, but on the C5 A6 it is possible. So put that out of the way. That way you don't have to loosen this clamp here, and you can just clean it off like this. After that, you're going to need a drill and a metal wire wheel like this, and we're going to start cleaning off these. But before you go on there with the metal wheel, these right here are rubber, and you're going to want to pop them off. They should just be easily pulled off. Be careful that you don't make these dirty, because these are supposed to be greased and not full of rust. So set these aside carefully, like so. As you can see, these are greased, and put these aside. And now we can take the wire wheel and clean off the area right here. This is what it's supposed to look like after you're done cleaning it, where it's nice and shiny like this. Important is just the mating surfaces where the brake pad is going to go, so that it can sit in there nice and smoothly and doesn't get stuck or anything. So you want to clean off this back here and down here. All of these isn't really too important. It's just the mating surfaces here. As an added benefit, you can also clean off this area where the brake rotor sits, so that it also has a nice mating surface and doesn't get, isn't on there crooked or anything. Next, we want to oil these things, so we're going to take some copper paste, and we're going to take a nice fair amount, put it on there, and now spread it out nicely all over. Not too much, because we don't want to block this. It's supposed to have a bit more movement freedom. It's not supposed to be tight in there. So you're gonna take that and then you're gonna shove it back in there. Put the rubber grommet over the little edge, and then you can even like move it about a bit, make sure that it doesn't get stuck, isn't crappy or anything. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the other one. Also smear this all over, like so. And then we're also gonna take this one back in and also shove it in there. Do the same thing, like so. For turning back the cylinder in the actual brake caliper, you would either need a specialty tool, but I don't have that, so I will show you a way to do it without the specialty tool. So one person will have to hold these two things like this to apply pressure to push this thing in, while another person takes a pair of pliers and turns this. When turning this, it will go back inside, and that is what you want. This is how it's supposed to look once you've turned it in all the way. Just make sure that here, this little rubber piece, it might have some air stuck underneath it, so you go in there carefully with a screwdriver and lift it up a bit so you let that air out, so that it's nice and smooth and looks like this. After that, we want to smear up these brake pads with the same copper paste as before. So you're going to put some on there and smear it again with the mating surfaces here, not too much, but a little bit. Same on the other side, like so. And then we're also going to take the leftovers of this. I'm going to put it on here. It's probably enough if we just took one of these sides, but I'm going to be sure. And I'm going to smear both of these sides. And then we're also going to take more and put it over here, on here, on here, and lastly also the last brake pad. Again, not too much because we don't want it too full, but a nice, okay amount. Stretching it a bit here, take some from the other side. Nice. We don't want to get any onto the extra brake pad itself because that's going to hinder us from braking. So just over here, and then we're going to put, test fit it. Works nice. It's sitting in there nice and loose. So we can now put the rotor back on. So you're going to take this. Don't get too much brake copper paste on there, like so. Then put your new brake pads in front and behind. Take off these sticky pads if you have them. Same thing here. Boom. And then we're going to take our caliper and we're going to shove it over the top. Push these two things in to get past them. Make sure that these metal things here in the middle aren't sticking out so that they're nice and supported on both sides. And then you're going to take your screws. You might want to put new ones in. I don't have new ones, so I'm going to put in the old ones. And we're going to shove those in on top. Just make sure that they're in. Bottom one you might have to persuade a little bit more. Like so. And then, like before, just now in the other direction, we're going to take our spanner and a ratchet, and we're going to tighten these screws again. There's one. Now we can take off the extension. Put this on here. Take the spanner. Boom. And tighten this one as well. And there you go. That is the rear axe or the rear wheel done. Make sure that these are all tight enough, and then you can put your wheel back on. And now let's go do the front. Now at the front, we're gonna start right here with this little clip that we want to take off. Kind of a penis in the anus, but it should come out if you twist it. There we go. Now do the same thing here. Here. And then you twist it and push it out. And there we have the thing out. Cool. Next, back here, there is a little thing right here that we're going to take out here, this little cap. Same thing down here. There's another one, like so. And then this usually is a imbus. However, I don't have that, so you can also just use a 45 Torx. This is what it's supposed to look like. However, for me, it's different on this side, so I had to use a 40 Torx. You will most likely have to use a 45 because this one is too small. But for me, they fit. So what you do, you go in here, turn them out. Of course, I slipped off. Right? You're probably not gonna feel how these are out, so you just gotta look when they stop coming your way or stop pushing themselves out. Okay, and then in here you can, if you look closely, you can see where they are and then push them back a little bit more. And then from there, you can push them out back here. Like this. Do the same thing on the bottom. This one isn't out all the way yet. So I'm gonna go back here. There we go. Now it should be out. There we go. Here we have them pushed out. Come on. This one's in there, Jesus. Oh yeah, that's very dirty. These are supposed to be clean, but this is what they look like. Get those out. And then we're gonna take a big screwdriver. And then just like on the rear, right here, we're also gonna put our screwdriver in. So here you have this little hole. This one's gonna stay where it is, and all of this is gonna come out. This one big piece. So we're gonna push our screwdriver in there, push it out. This one might give you more of trouble because the brake pads are supposed to come out with it. So don't worry if it takes a bit longer. Just somehow push this crap out, like so. And then it should just come off like this. Now, the inside is clipped in with these clips and also has the sensor. So just watch out that that doesn't break off or rip off, and the outside one should just come out like this. But these actually still look really good. Right here is your brake cylinder again, or brake solenoid. And here are these things. And yeah, to take out this sensor from right here, all we really gotta do is go right here. Then there's this little lip right here that we gotta lift up, this little pin. Like so, and then we should be able to just twist this sensor out, so 90 degrees, and then we're gonna lift up the sensor if it wants to. There we go, now it's coming out like so. And then it's just a regular VW clip like that. And then you have your brake pads. Next up, you got to push this thing back. Again, if you have a special tool for that, use that obviously. I don't, so I just had to squish this back. Good thing is on the front here, you don't have to turn this like on the back. Here it's just, you push it in. It takes a lot of force though, so get like a big screwdriver or something and push it in as far as you can until you hit dead stop. And then next, after that, just leave this hanging here for a second. That'll survive. Next up, again, we want to clean these things right here. Actually, we can take this out again. We can clean these things again, like on the back, and then grease them up and put in the new brake pads. So I'll see you then. All right, after the solenoid, you clean up these things. Once they're clean, you take the copper paste like we did before again. You smear it nicely onto the mating surfaces, just like we did last time as well. Be nice and generous, but not too generous. A bit more. Like so. Perfect. And now we take the brake pads. We want to also lube up our brake pads like this. Also nice and generous so that they don't start squeaking. That would be bad. Give it a bit more. Again, here we want to be careful that we don't put it onto the actual brake pad itself, but just the mating surfaces between them. Then this one, well, this one will eventually end up here. And the one with the sensor has to go on the inside because otherwise the cable doesn't reach. But we also first still have to lube up this side. That's a lot of lube. Boom, boom, boom. Like so. Nice. And this one, since it has these metal tips here, let me just wipe the rest of this lube off. Oh, that was smart. Since this one has, God damn it. Since this one has the little pins here, this one goes in here. There we go, like so. This one, since otherwise this will get caught here, we also got to put this one in here, like so. And then after we laid the sensor cable up here, we're going to take this and just put it over the thing again. Get the brake pads in the right spot, like so. Plug the sensor back in, make sure it doesn't get caught on anything. Make sure it actually like clicks in. And then just like on the other side, we're gonna, or just like when taking it apart, turn it 90 degrees again so that the little pin clicks in down there. So it's nice and clicked in and tight. And then we take these little pins that either you have cleaned off, so we don't want them looking like this with this gunk on here. Either we want it completely clean, or you just take new ones. I got new ones. So we can lube these up as well. Like so. And then we stick them into the back again, just like we did before. Take the second one and also lube it up. Like so. Find your hole and stick it in. And after that, we're going to take our 45 Torx and start ratcheting it in. So like so, and then we pull them nice and tight. Not too tight though, otherwise they're gonna break off. Let's take this one in A little tip is you wanna thread them first, both of them, and then once both of them are threaded, then start tightening both of them, because you don't want it that one of them is threaded, the other one isn't yet, and then you can't get the second one in after you've tightened the first one already. Cool. After that, we're almost done. We just gotta put these little caps back on. 1 and 2, like so. And then one last step. We're gonna put this little thing back on here. Push it down in there. Like so. Just like so. And then put them over the little pins. So, and so, and there we go. That is the brakes on the front. Nice. Now, what we do is we line up our brake rotor and put our front wheel back on. And then we're gonna go onto the road and do a test drive. So we'll see you then. Cool, we're now on the test drive after installing the brakes, and I just want to tell you a couple of hints to look out for after changing your brakes for going on a test drive. Things you want to look out for. So first things first, you want to see if there's any vibrations. Driving around here, we have none. There's everything seems to be doing good. No vibrations. Next thing you want to look out for is vibrations while braking, because that could be unevenness in your brake rotor. And so we just do a nice soft brake. That's important that you don't immediately do a full braking emergency brake, because that is gonna glaze over, get the tops of the brake pads really hot, and they're gonna melt and they're gonna glaze over, and then it's gonna be like glass on top, and that is bad, because then you can basically throw those things away and put new brake pads in. So a nice and soft for just the first, I don't know, 20 kilometers that you drive. We're gonna do nice, easy, soft brakes. Nothing too hard. Pretty simple. Again, check for vibrations. If there's no vibrations, we're next gonna see if the car brakes straight. So what you're gonna do is let go of the steering wheel and start braking. And if it pulls to one side, that's bad. You should check your calipers or your piston inside the brake caliper or inside the brake thing, and make sure that it brakes nice and straight and doesn't pull to a side. And lastly, what we also want to see is that the pressure on the brake pads isn't too high when driving normally. So what you do is slow to a crawl and then let go of the brake, and then see if the car stops immediately or keeps rolling like this. This is really nice. Like, if you just have it roll out to a stop and there's nothing there, and it even might start rolling in the other direction again. That's really nice. We like that. What we don't want is it stopping kind of like this, where it stops very quickly and jolts you back and forth like that, where you feel it. That's bad. That means there's too much pressure on the piston, and either the piston isn't running smoothly, or there might be even too much pressure in your brake system. So if all of that is cool, and all of that is doing what it's supposed to, no vibrations while braking, not pulling to one side while braking, and the static pressure of your brakes isn't too high and it doesn't immediately stop your car, then you're basically good, and you're done. So thank you for watching. I hope that was a good tutorial on doing a brake change on your car, and maybe it even helped some people that don't have a C5 A6 Allroad and just want to do it on their own car. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.